first 15 minutes. They're going to have to get to the pace of the game quickly. It's a good game for City, this. It's a good game for City and their individuals. It really is.
But Karen Bardsley, all the pressure is on Manchester City in many respects.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on paper, obviously they are the better side. And I think, we've seen maybe that first half didn't go quite according to plan. And I think Pep will have made the necessary adjustments, and I imagine he will have gone, hard into some of this analysis. And I think, I imagine that City will absolutely come out flying. I'm expecting to see amazing things tonight from Kevin De Bruyne, and I'm just feeling it for Haaland.
Well, when they were last here in the group stages of last season, Manchester City won 6-3. And Nkunku, who's out injured, actually scored a hat-trick for Leipzig on that occasion. Our commentary tonight is also on the red button, and 5 Live final score is available on that, and also the BBC iPlayer. We're also live on BBC Sounds, but if you are watching 5 Live final score as well as listening to our coverage, you will notice that Blackpool, who are in the relegation zone in the Championship, are leading Queen's Park Rangers by 2-0. Watford are 1-0 up against Birmingham and Chris Wilder's first home game in charge. Newport 0, Wimbledon 1 is the latest score in League 2. And Peterborough have just taken the lead at Accrington, who are down to 10 men. Lucas Jensen sent off, and Burton 0, Peterborough 1 is the latest score. Accrington are down to 10 men, and Portsmouth have just taken the lead against the 10 men of Accrington. The computer screen just dropped down the little video printer whilst I was talking and threw me momentarily with a Peterborough and a Portsmouth. But anyway, we're here and we're underway for the first night of 3 successive nights of European coverage on BBC Radio 5 Live. Tomorrow we will be in Spain, and indeed the day after. Madrid tomorrow, Seville on Thursday, as we then concentrate on the Europa League. And whilst Liverpool have got it all to do in the Bernabeu tomorrow, Manchester City 1-1 with RB Leipzig from the first leg. So Manchester City in their sky blue shirts and white shorts are playing from left to right as we look, cleared away by Leipzig, as we say, predominantly in the all black. And now straight away round forward and finds Werner drifting out towards this left-hand side, as he so often does. Campbell very experienced in the midfield. The referee, incidentally, is Slavko Vincic from Slovenia, and Kevin Campbell, the former Slovenian international, will certainly offer a lot of experience in the centre of midfield as the ball goes back to Edison in his luminous orange goalkeeping outfit away towards that left-hand side, headed forward by Hadar, a little touch from Forsberg. Campbell lifts it over the top, and Werner actually wanted the ball kept on the deck. You could see his frustration was quite clear.
Yeah, he's just coming out. He just closed down the keeper. He was just on his way out, and the ball was a nice ball actually, but he was a couple of yards offside.
Blackpool are flying. They are leading Queen's Park Rangers by 3-0. It won't necessarily get them out of the bottom 3, but it will close the gap on the team above them, who is Cardiff City. 3-0 up inside 14 minutes. Out to Akanji on the near side, heads it forward to Stones. Stones brings it under control, and certainly already Leipzig have been a lot more adventurous in the press than they were in the first half in Leipzig. As Szoboszlai plays it in low, Campbell couldn't control it. Gundogan was there, sliding to try and win it back with Szoboszlai, and that will be a free kick for a foul on Bernardo Silva. It's interesting, Karen, though, the way that Leipzig have started in a lot more adventurous manner than 3 weeks back.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing Timo Werner and Forsberg obviously press very, very high. It looks like they're forcing, obviously, to try and get maybe, to play through the midfield. So John Stones is available, but it looks like Ruben Diaz played a pretty risky pass out to Akanji, and it was put under immediate pressure. So, yeah, Red Bull's certainly on the front foot.
Charlton are 1-0 up at Morecambe. Karen Bardsley and Dion Dublin are with us here. De Bruyne on the right-hand side with the cross, and then arriving on the half volley was Gundogan, and he couldn't keep it down. He hit it right-footed, always going over the top.
Yeah, De Bruyne just getting in that right wing spot. Didn't really have to look. Put it into the far post. Lovely run from Haaland just to take the defenders away towards that near post. Both defenders go beyond the near post and the penalty spot. Coming in the far post there, Gundogan, I'm thinking he's that good, Karen. He's that good. Just hit the target on the half volley.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was on a platter for him, wasn't it? And he just had to stay over it, make some good contact, and Got to test the keeper, don't you?
Here are Bernardo Silva now for Manchester City, coming in on the right touchline, turns back towards the right corner of the penalty area, goes down that side towards the byline and wins a corner with an attempted right-footed cross. Watford have got a second goal. Chris Wilder's first home game in charge, only one win in 9, but leading 2-0 at Vicarage Road against Birmingham City. So, in front of a full house here at the Etihad, BBC Radio 5 Live, been playing for 3.5 minutes. Bristol Rovers 0, Wycombe 1 is the latest score in League One. De Bruyne waits to take the corner kick. Near side the right, right-footed, outswinger, header down into the ground by Diaz, strikes the legs of Guardiola, cleared away. Forsberg tries to get there, nicked back though by a sliding Bernardo Silva. Then the right corner of the right bottom, lovely ball, that was De Bruyne, headed out by Henriks, who is tucked in. Hadara clears once again, controlled now by Forsberg, plays the ball out towards that far side, and now it's with Lima. Lima's diagonal ball though is stopped by Rodri, leaping back in front of his own back four, but then given away by Manchester City. Nice pace to the game.
Yeah, it is. I think Leipzig have sort of matched the pace that City want to play at, keeping it, making sure they find their teammate. Kevin De Bruyne doesn't look that nervous to me. He's picking out his passes, he's playing his normal game. Yes, he's enjoying himself.
Szoboszlai back with Gvardiol, and now it's with Blasvic, the number 2 goalkeeper, and then still Galacci is out long-term injury with an ACL as it goes all the way through to Ederson. He picks out Ake on that far side, the left. Peterborough have got a second at Burton in League One. Burton 0, Peterborough United 2. Leipzig will press. Akanji plays it to Rodri, collects that diagonal ball in front of his own penalty area. Haaland has come deep, but he's lost the ball with that challenge coming in from Campbell. I'm going to say that they were far too cautious in the first half, but Leipzig have started these opening 5 minutes in the manner that they really did play the majority of that second half in Germany 3 weeks ago, and it should make for a very entertaining cup tie here on BBC Radio 5 Live, as that was a ball by Guardiola, didn't do Orban many favours, and it goes out of play for a City throw on that far side, the left, that they're in no real hurry to take. 0-0, 6 minutes in, just waiting, and it's Gundogan who shows himself to Grealish, and Henriks in with the challenge. It'll still be a City throw on the left, and again Grealish with the throw, bounces onto the chest by Haaland, out towards Grealish, prods it back. Ake with the cross into the penalty area and eventually cleared by Campbell. Now Szoboszlai is going to give chase. He's herring after the ball, but Akanji comes across to this near side, the Manchester City right, and plays it back to Ederson all the way towards our left-hand side. Rodri now takes over, finds De Bruyne, round, rattles his heels, and City are forced back. I like the approach from Leipzig.
Yeah, I think they are happy as soon as the ball goes to Ederson. They're happy to set in that squeeze in position, making City play some really good football, making sure that the person on the ball has lots of options, otherwise they are there squeezing in numbers, led by Timo Werner and Forsberg at the front.
Charlton have got a second at Morecambe as the high ball was aimed towards Haaland. That will probably keep Morecambe inside the relegation zone in League One. Ball goes back to the goalkeeper Blasvic, plays it to Gvardiol. They're going to try and beat the City press. Orban plays it out to Henriks. The right back scoops the ball forward, but it's ahead of Lima, and City get the ball back. Interesting, that in that first leg, Manchester City had something like, I think it was 74% possession in the first half, but didn't force home their superiority, and then Leipzig came back at them. It's a lot more even.
Yeah, I just think City won't mind that at all.
Here is Bernardo Silva. He finds De Bruyne, Szoboszlai, Hadara, Forsberg in that central role, turns into trouble in the shape of Rodri. He was just surrounded by sky blue shirts here at the Etihad. 8 minutes played, out to Ake, far side the left. Grealish drops to the halfway line to collect it, and now Grealish dropping back inside his own half, plays it back to Ederson. away towards our left-hand side. So Akanji now. Rodri's ahead of him. Stones is on the halfway line. Now it's with Diaz. Gundogan shows himself, lays it off towards Rodri. Rodri's outside the centre circle for Manchester City, and then he turns. Bernardo Silva has stayed wide on this near side, the right, but being patient at the moment. And now it's with Ake on the left, and now it's with Stones to Gundogan, creeping their way into the Leipzig half as a patrolling Pep Guardiola, decked out all in black, now puts his hands on his knees and just stoops a little just to watch as Marco Rosa in the opposite technical area knows all about Manchester City at this stage from his time with Borussia Mönchengladbach and Dortmund. Gundogan looking for Grealish. That was a lovely move. Hadara tries to walk it out of defence on the edge of the area, and then Henrichs will win a throw for Leipzig as the rain falls here. What have you made, Karen, of these, well, almost 10 minutes?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. To your point, I mean, I think it's lovely to see RB Leipzig come out and actually look like they really, really believe in their abilities. I think Werner and Forsberg, the press has been excellent. I think they've managed well, you know, with Stones occupying that midfield double pivot next to Rodri.
That's Karen Bardsley. We've got Dion Dublin with us as well here. Rotherham 0, Preston 1 is a latest score in the championship, and I've been told that Cam Norris against Andrei Rublev commentary's now been pushed back to 9 on Sports Extra. So I don't know, just over 45 minutes time. This is 5 Live. We're live on BBC Sounds. It's the Champions League, and it remains 0-0. And Guardiola, I've got to say, is cutting a rather animated figure in that technical area down below as the ball goes back to Ederson. But they have made a very good record of reaching the last 8 in recent years in the Champions League. Indeed, they're looking for a quarter-finals, for a 6th successive appearance. We talk about their record at home as a ball forward to Haaland. Haaland tries to prod it past the goalkeeper, who just did enough to come off his goal line. And it took a deflection off his knees. Grealish, edge of the area for Manchester City. And now Leipzig will find Forsberg, and the referee's blown his whistle. Well, Karen, as a goalkeeper, Blasvish was quickly off his goal line and did just enough, it seemed.
Yeah, he recognized the ball is coming over the top. He takes up a good starting position just to the right side of this channel. He's on the front foot. He's getting ready to get set and then makes an early decision. And the pivotal thing is he gets set just before Haaland gets that poke on the ball. And he's exceptionally lucky, to be fair, to be able to poke, to stick that foot out, to be honest.
I think from a centre-forward's point of view, he's wanting that to bounce twice. It bounces, it skids away from him slightly. I think the keeper does a really clever thing. He waits to see where the ball bounces, how far it's going to bounce away from Haaland, and the keeper makes a really good decision to come out and to make the angle really big. Should I say the angle really tight?
That wasn't the best of clearances. Gundogan rattles it in hard and low. Haaland inside left channel of the penalty area, and then the ball from Grealish was looking into a central area. Now it's with Gundogan, and back with Akanji in the centre circle of the Leipzig half, but still Guardiola doesn't seem content.
No, he's not content, because he wants them to play short. Bernardo Silva's wide on the right, Jack's wide on the left. He wants them to play short, then go big with the diagonal, so you can spread that back four.
I am going to just, now I can actually ask Karen now. Interesting, when I first said about the keeper, it was Ake's ball from defence. I thought that the keeper would come out, but you watch it again, and his initial reaction is actually to go back.
Yeah, he's buying himself time, isn't he? You know, so he's understood, like, his start position was on the right side of the D, if you will, in terms of that channel. But he's recognized, I might need to come. Actually, I'll buy myself some time. And then just as Haaland was about to strike and get a poke on that ball, he breaks.
De Bruyne with the cross, and Blasvish, who we've just been talking about, is the 31-year-old German goalkeeper, signed in the summer, 3-year deal. He's played 18 of, I think, the last 24 games, as Burton have got a goal back in League One. Burton 1, Peterborough 2, and Northampton are leading Mansfield Town in League 2 by a goal to nil at Sixfields. Northampton, who are 4th in that table, as Blasvish plays a flat clearance out forward, and now it's with Rodri, who tidies up in the centre circle. Number of games in the Championship. We know that Blackpool are leading Queen's Park Rangers 3-0. Watford are 2-0 up at home to Birmingham. Middlesbrough Stoke City. Chris Coles.
0-0. Just like the game you're watching, the unfancied visitors are here to play. Stoke have enjoyed the opening 13 minutes. Already a couple of good chances. Tyrese Campbell and Kiana Herver coming close. Chuba Akpom has rather surprisingly wasted Middlesbrough's best opportunity. 0-0.
Thank you, Chris. 0-0 here as well in the Champions League. And now it's with Diaz just outside the centre circle. Still the rain falls here in the city of Manchester as Diaz plays the ball along the ground. It goes straight towards Hadara. Hadara coming forward. Now to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai's got Raum on the overlap. Raum with the cross in towards the 6-yard area and gathered in well by Edison. Very well.
Yeah, exceptional take from Edison. And he set Bernardo on the counter-attack.
The City forward now with Rodri as a result, passes the ball out towards that far side. Grealish gives the ball away, out of play it goes for a throw. We talked about the threat on the counter-attack, and there was another example of why Leipzig can't be taken lightly.
No, I just feel that City got to be really careful, especially in the middle third of the pitch. If they do give it away there, then Forsberg's gone, Werner's gone, Szoboszlai's in behind. They do go in numbers, squeezing numbers, attacking numbers as well.
Since the first leg 3 weeks ago, they beat Eintracht Frankfurt 2-1, then they lost 2-1 to Borussia Dortmund, but they beat Borussia Mönchengladbach by 3-0. They are a side that, like Manchester City, are on the lookout for 3 trophies at this stage of the season. They've got the German Cup. They're slipping a little bit behind in the race for the Bundesliga. 7 points behind Bayern and 5 points behind Borussia Dortmund as they lie third in the Bundesliga. And the Champions League, of course, well, many people expecting Manchester City go through, but Leipzig are a talented side despite the injury problems that they have, as Rodri works it forward to Gundogan. Sharp turn out to Grealish, coming in off the left touchline. Grealish flicks the ball on the overlap for Ake. Ake's cross, it's laid off. Grealish with a shot, took a deflection over the top, corner kick.
That's what Pep wants. Pep wants that. He's pointing to his players now. They've got themselves a corner, but the movement was short. Out to Grealish. Grealish comes in, Ake round him, and then you've set yourself a chance to get the ball in the box. It sort of went towards the edge of the box, and De Bruyne, off balance, sets Grealish on his right foot with just a lovely cushion pass. And Grealish shoots for goal, but it gets deflected. That's the play that Pep wants.
It's so clear to see, isn't it, that RB Leipzig know they're vulnerable through the midfield.
Corner kick then to Manchester City on this near side, the right. De Bruyne is going to take it. It'll be right-footed, the right arm aloft. In it comes now. Hadara missed it. Werner hooks it away over his head, and it'll be retrieved about 6 yards forward of the halfway line on that left-hand side by Grealish, and then back to Ake. But again, Guardiola, with a real bit of purpose, marches out into that technical area as Akanji back towards Diaz, and all of a sudden Leipzig have pushed Manchester City back midway through their own half now.
I think because City are in light blue and Leipzig are in black, you can actually see what they're doing. Leipzig, they're going together, they're waiting for a certain pass, and then in their departments they are going and they are squeezing. You can see the black shirts. It's clear to see against the green grass exactly what they're doing and where they're going.
Here is Ake out to Grealish, far side. Grealish shown on the inside by Henriks. Ake takes over, finds Stones. Stones along the ground now to Bernardo Silva. Stones has now continued to run forward, but it's De Bruyne who sends over the cross, and the right-footed ball is into the midriff of the keeper. So how long we've been playing? We've been playing for what, nearly 18 minutes, and City, for their possession at the minute, haven't created that. The best effort's probably what, the Haaland one?
The Haaland half chance, Jack Grealish as well. We've just had a half chance as well, but
Bernardo Silva's just put Blasvish under some pressure, and he's been forced to concede the corner kick. You see that in the first leg. Overall, I talked before about the first half dominance having 70-odd%. It was 62% of possession overall. They had 3 shots on target, Manchester City. in that first leg. Leipzig actually much improved second half performance, created the better chances. Corner kick, then far side the left. Still 0-0 on the night, 1-1 on aggregate. In it comes now, drops, close range. Akanji has an effort, blocked, comes out towards Stones, heads it forward, still hasn't been dealt with. Haaland turns it back. What a scramble that was. And it's eventually Campbell who gets the ball away. Well, they must have had about 3 or 4 nibbles at that as Guardiola tries to whip up the crowd here at the Etihad. That was more like it.
Yeah, it was. It was kept in there by City in that sort of 6-yard area, second 6-yard box. Diaz had a go, Haaland had a go, Rodri had a go. All blocked, good defending. Black shirts really closing the shots down. But this is where City will want to be, in control of the game. They've got 70% possession at the moment. Talking about possession, Deno, I do believe that this is where City want to be.
Here is Gundogan, forward ball. Gvardiol takes it away. He's gone down, actually. The referee's going to blow his whistle. Foul for Leipzig. That was a real good old scramble.
Yeah, it was. It was crazy. I mean, we're seeing everyone's obviously in the right positions in terms of making themselves available for an opportunity. But I mean, the out-and-out defensive commitment that we see from RB Leipzig, that was just fantastic. It's last-ditch defending. It's bodies on the ball. You know, it's fantastic effort in terms of they know exactly what's at stake here.
Oh, hold on. VAR, a potential penalty check. I think this will be given. Now, the offender is Henriks. His right arm is away from his body. UEFA are, in my opinion, extremely strict when it comes to handballs. I remember one from, I think, Danny Rose a number of years ago with Tottenham. This, I think, will be given. We'll see, though. Yes, it is. Slavko Vincic has been told by the VAR to have a look at the monitor. He came across towards the right-hand side, and it's from the header from Rodri that strikes the right arm of Henriks. Now, Henriks has got his back to Rodri, and his right arm, he doesn't even know that it's touched the ball.
That's harsh. Yeah, you know what? Under the laws of the game, I get it. But that is really harsh. He's got... I mean, Rodri's behind him.
Where's his arm supposed to go?
I don't know. When you jump, Callan, your arms go above your shoulder, and he's talking to the referee now. He's got his hand over his mouth. He's saying to the referee, what am I supposed to do? He jumps. His arm's in the air. The ball gets headed on his arm from what I've seen here. I think it gets headed on his arm, but he's not even looking at the ball.
It's harsh, but by the rule of the law, I mean, it's hard to argue with. But we saw that this weekend in the Premier League, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
But also, I think UEFA are just so consistent. Anything that hits the arm when it's away from the body, it's given. So, Erling Haaland, Manchester City's record from the penalty spot this season, they've scored 9 of 11. But Erling Haaland is yet to miss.
I love the mind games already. You can see the RB Leipzig goalkeeper trying to get as close as possible, trying to, posture and intimidate Haaland. But, yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's going to work with a guy as experienced and confident as Haaland.
5 out of 5 from the spot, Erling Haaland, out of his tally of 34 this season. It's... only now does he begin the run-up after the referee's whistle. It's a short run-up, and in the pouring rain, Erling Haaland delivers off that trusty left boot. Low into the bottom right-hand corner. Erling Haaland maintains his 100% record from the spot for Manchester City, and they lead RB Leipzig by a 1-0 midway through the first half.
Yeah, it's a good penalty. Karen's right, the confidence was there. He had the ball in his hand while the referee was looking at the screens. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. At the weekend, he went to the keeper's right. This time he goes to the keeper's left.
He's got that in the locker, doesn't he? I mean, that approach that Haaland took was very short and very central, and he's clearly got quite a lot of disguise and obviously a lot of power. But to be able to torque the hips and get the foot rotated around the ball to kind of just nestle it into the left-hand side.
Does it make it harder for the keeper?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the goalkeeper's outstretched. He's done really, really well considering just how short the approach is and the disguise from Haaland. And he's so close. He's like half a fingertip away.
That's why I messed up, Deno. I used to take a really long run up when I was taking penalties. That's why I could have had another 50 goals.
Doing, do you?
Go 50-50.
As the ball goes back to Blasvic, and he was quickly closed down by Haaland. And then it's back to Haaland once again, and he heads it back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne! Oh, what a goal that would have been! On the follow-up, Haaland! Manchester City with 2 goals in the space of a minute. And Erling Haaland did a double. And Manchester City now are looking for a place in the quarter-finals. De Bruyne rattled the bar with a rasping left-footed drive, and it cannoned back down. And Haaland on the follow-up wasn't going to miss. 2-0.
Yeah, that's down to just pure concentration from City. I mentioned that before the game. The press was on. They used the press well. The keeper got closed down. He couldn't clear it how he wanted to clear it. City kept it alive. It falls to De Bruyne, 25 yards out. All he does is keeps his head down. He strikes the ball with such power, hits the bar, and who's on his toes? Haaland for a little tapping.
Oh, I love this so much. The intensity. I mean, obviously, Haaland is buzzing after scoring that penalty, but the pressing, to put the goalkeeper under pressure, to force that issue, to obviously allow Kevin De Bruyne to have that shot and goal, and the awareness to be in that half space to go and pick up that header as well and follow in. Fantastic.
I've got to say, Dano, that the follow-up from Haaland, the header, is not an easy one at all. He's 8 yards out. He's got to get to his highest point to head the ball down past the keeper with power.
I mean, he said his heading was rubbish, didn't he?
He did. Well, he said it was an area that he had to improve on.
All right, maybe not rubbish. I don't think Haaland is anything rubbish, does he?
In fact, I'll be able to tell you now. What is that? So he's scored 23 with his left foot this season, 7 with his right foot, and that's only his 6 with his head, out of a tally of 36, if that adds up.
It's not bad, is it? All you have to worry about
is the maths. Sutton 0, Grimsby 1 is the latest score in League 2. Rotherham have equalised in the Championship, 1-1 at home to Preston. Burton 1, Burton 1, Peterborough 3, and Middlesbrough Stoke, Chris Coles.
No surprise, a goal for Middlesbrough. No surprise, a goal for Chuba Akpom, 24th of the season. Stoke give the ball away sloppily. Riley McGree pounces, squares to Akpom. He just doesn't miss. Centrally positioned, 6 yards out. Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 0.
That would take them to within a point of Sheffield United for that second automatic promotion spot in the Championship, where Blackpool have got a 4th in that first half at Bloomfield Road. I would imagine if anybody's gone to Blackpool tonight, they'd be extremely happy to see 4 goals in the space of 36 minutes. BBC Radio 5 Live. We're live on BBC Sounds, and the 5 Live final score is available on the red button and the iPlayer. But City scoring 2 goals in a minute is a little bit like a boxer. You know, where the referee's taking you, you've got your man in the corner, you've got him on the ropes, and the referee pulls you back, and then he goes, right, go again, and then he goes straight for the knockout blow.
Straight back on the ropes again, and that's exactly what's happened. I think there's a I don't know what Karen thinks, but there's a buoyancy about City. Kevin De Bruyne is back in the side, and he seems to have given them that sort of dominance in possession.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Bernardo obviously started a lot of that with that corner, the press, and then when the ball went out for the corner earlier in the game, he was asking the crowd, the players, like, listen, this is the intensity. I want to see this pressure, and it's kind of set the tempo. And the last 5 minutes have been absolutely electric. And I think to your point, Dion, the creativity that and the dominance in the midfield that Kevin De Bruyne brings, it's just, I don't know, it breeds confidence. But you can see a massive difference in what Haaland has brought off the back of converting that goal, that penalty. It just seems like this massive weight has been lifted off the back of City's shoulders.
In the blink of an eye, Manchester City are leading Leipzig by 2-0 on the night and lead 3-1 on aggregate. Tomorrow, we're live in the Bernabeu. Real Madrid leading Liverpool 5-2 from the first leg. We stay in Spain for Thursday. An earlier start time, though, as the rain has turned more into a little bit of sleet now. There's a wintry feel at the Etihad, which they won't be feeling in Seville. 26 degrees on Thursday for what will be a 5:45 kickoff. Real Betis against Manchester United, and then coverage of Arsenal against Sporting. And then on Friday, Gold Cup Day at the Cheltenham Festival. And we heard from Nico de Boinville with Kelly ahead of the game. He's only got the one run tomorrow. Bold endeavour in the 250. He said it was a 40-1 shot. I had it down as 25-1 with on my app, but he's basically told you to steer well away from it. I think the 40-1 shot now is Leipzig to try and get through past Manchester City, who lead by 2-0. As in these wintry conditions, Forsberg overruns the ball, and out of play it goes for a throw. And any sense of jeopardy, all of a sudden now, Manchester City look comfortable.
Yeah, they do look comfortable, but there's always, you know, at 2-0, yes, City should be okay, but I think Leipzig are still looking. I mean, Campbell's telling his teammates in the midfield that push in, both hands out, waving his hands forward as if to say, squeeze, stay forward, don't come backwards, stay confident.
The only thing I would say about Leipzig is that they failed to score once in their last 24 games. That was against Cologne, away from home in early February. As that now is snow, isn't it? Here at the
it's quite heavy as well, isn't it? It's quite heavy. This is, by the way, Callum, this is snow. This is snow. I'm not sure if you had it as bad as you were back in the States.
I was wondering what that was. Just like dandruff to me.
I don't know about that either, to be honest with you.
I don't know either. I haven't got any hair. So, free kick to Leipzig. We're approaching the half hour. Manchester City lead by 2-0. Szoboszlai and Raum, in it goes. It's a dipping ball. It actually struck the legs of Hadara. Didn't really get any meaningful touch on it. About, I don't know, 10 yards out from goal. And Manchester City get the ball away. Morecambe 0, Charlton 3, Blackpool 4, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Queen's Park Rangers 1, a consolation for QPR at Bloomfield Road in the Championship. 2-0 to Manchester City, looking to join Benfica, Chelsea, Milan and Bayern in the quarter-finals. Porto and Inter are currently playing in the Estadio Dragao. It still remains 0-0, so Inter leading 1-0 from the first leg. As here is Gundogan. There was a slip there by Gvardiol as the ball goes out towards that far side. And now with his hood up on his black jacket, he looks a little calmer, does Pep Guardiola, with 15 minutes to go to half-time, leading 2-0. Here is Bernardo Silva. Square ball. De Bruyne helps it out to Rodri. Rodri's forward ball on the stretch is Grealish. Grealish feeds it forward. Haaland on the hat-trick. Left-footed shot, beaten out by the goalkeeper. Hit it nice and early.
Grealish has done so well there to take that ball through the midfield. I mean, it was bouncing, but the control there to bring it down, it looked like his left big toe, and then just finds Haaland running in for a great save from the RB Leipzig goalkeeper. He's reacted really well there.
Yeah, they're doing exactly what Pep's been gesticulating. He's been saying, you know, go short. What happens if you go short in the midfield is play some nice passes, some nice triangles. Those black shirts of Leipzig are going to try and squeeze, and then it leaves a spare man out wide. That's how they're playing the game at the moment, and Leipzig don't have an answer.
He scored 6 goals in 4 appearances against Leipzig during his time in Germany, and he's on for yet another hat-trick in the colours of Manchester City. And certainly Yanis Blaszczak made a very good save, as there is an injury on that far side, and it was a push in the back of Grealish by Willi Orban, Hungarian international, the captain of Leipzig. So almost down by the corner flag. Manchester City are going to have this free kick. Leading 2-0 on the night, 3-1 in aggregate, and we've got 13 minutes to the break here on BBC Radio 5 Live. And Leipzig have got everybody back, as Haaland waits for the delivery. De Bruyne waits for the referee's whistle, but Slavko Vincic just having a word with Lima in the penalty area. I think it's he who's tasked with trying to keep Haaland quiet. In comes the free kick from De Bruyne, punched away by the goalkeeper, and behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, great delivery that was. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne is more or less shot from the corner flag. He's heading in the far post, but keeper does well, I think, just to get that out of harm's way. He now jogs over to the far corner for an outswinger this time.
Yeah, back to this side, the right. Manchester City playing from left to right. Has time to acknowledge the crowd, who He rolls it out to the right corner of the area for Gundogan, comes away from Forsberg, who slips, edge of the area, finds Akanji, who turns, low cross into the 6-yard area, cleared. Szoboszlai now will run away with it for Leipzig. De Bruyne was the one who was trying to track his fellow number 17. He lifts the ball forward, and the goalkeeper's come out of his penalty area, makes the challenge on Lima, and the Leipzig players are putting pressure on the referee, and Ederson is shown. No, is that Werner shown the yellow card for dissent? So Werner was quickly into the face of the referee, and Timo Werner has been booked. Joining Henriks in the referee's notebook, 11 minutes to half-time.
Ederson should not be coming for that. He's got so much support around the ball. Let the defenders defend. There's absolute no reason to come flying out like that, and I'm really, really surprised there's not been a card issued to Ederson, to be honest.
I mean, it was an attempt to play the ball, but he didn't get anywhere near it.
No, listen, he came out flying. He was totally committed, but he got it completely wrong. I'm very, very surprised that the referee hasn't had a little whisper in his ear to go to the screen, or we think he should have a look at this. Ederson's got away with one, by the way.
Yeah, he absolutely
dodged. And I think City got the free kick because Timo Werner got a yellow card as well. So City have a dead ball when it should have been a dead ball to Leipzig. Got away with one there, I think.
Manchester City 2, RB Leipzig 0. Just over 10 minutes. Oh, that was a poor ball by Rodri. And Leipzig with an opportunity with Werner, and it came quickly to him, and he might have got a toe end. In fact, the flag's up on that far side anyway.
We've seen this in the past, haven't we, where one mistake tends to lead to another with City at times, and something really, really unpredictable that is completely unnecessary. Just find the spare player. Yeah, where is it? Oh, but is it just is it too easy? Do you just switch off for a second? It should be just a simple layoff, but yeah, like it just looks like that's kind of rattled City a little bit.
It was a right-footed effort by Werner. They've given the ball away there, Manchester City once again, and it's with Forsberg. And Bernardo Silva is the one who has to run back midway through his own half to try and win it back. When it came to Werner, it came very, very quickly, and he just swung a right boot at it. It might have just got I don't know, the very tip of his right boot, but he just turned the ball away and out, away from goal. Preston now leading at Rotherham United in the Championship. Rotherham 1, Preston 2 is a latest score, and you're up to date with the goals as they go in here on BBC Radio 5 Live. As Manchester City have got a throw. You see, one lapse of concentration and Leipzig are back in the game.
Exactly. I mean, we've seen it happen far too many times, and I think to your earlier point, Leipzig haven't gone a long time without scoring, so they've certainly got it in the tank. But I'd wonder what that yellow card for Werner, how is that going to change his approach?
Yeah, Werner joining Henriks in the book of Slavko Vincic. The ball is chipped away up towards Grealish. That was a good turn away from Hadara into the path of Haaland, who runs forward with the ball at his feet. Back out to Grealish on the left-hand side. Grealish goes down. Referee says no penalty. Now, from our position, very, very hard to tell whether he just entered the box as City come forward. Gundogan with a shot, right-footed, off-target goal kick. Of course, if it was inside the penalty area VAR, I would naturally have a look. But what was your initial reaction?
My initial reaction is the referee's in a very, very good position. He works really hard to get on the right angle, in the right angle to see. We're just watching the replay here. Jack Grealish is outside the box. If it is a penalty, it would have been outside, but Jack he tries to buy it, should we say?
He dives.
Yeah, I think he tries to buy it. Yes, you're right.
Is there a rough estimate of how much that might cost Dion?
Yes. I'll leave it.
That was a blatant dive. If that was a Leipzig player, you'd be absolutely hammering him.
I would be, yes. You're absolutely spot on. I think Jack knows. I tell you why you know, because you look at the player. Jack didn't really go to try and get the penalty, didn't try and get the free kick. He kicked his legs together, kicked his heels together.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't think he needs to do it. He's too good. Oh, this is a little bit worrying as well, by the way. Kevin De Bruyne is down.
Yeah, De Bruyne is down. The referee's blown the whistle. It was a challenge from Raum, who I think might have just caught De Bruyne. We've got Karen Barsley, the former England international goalkeeper, and Dion Dublin, former England striker, who's both with us here at the Etihad tonight, as we've got about 7 minutes to go to half-time. And Manchester City lead by 2-0. Sports Extra tomorrow afternoon as De Bruyne takes that quick free kick in towards Gundogan. Gundogan comes out. Hit it right-footed. Did the keeper make the save there?
Yeah, absolutely, he did. Give him credit where it's due, Dano.
Go on, Kaz, you tell him.
Yeah, my initial reaction is it happened all so quickly.
No, it was a great ball across, wasn't it? I mean, a great run from Gundogan, and he's completely unawares where the RB Leipzig defenders, and fortunately Blaswich was more than ready for it. Got set early and just got a big right palm to the ball. Yeah,
he was. It was a very good save from the German keeper.
Karen did actually whisper to me. She said, "I would have caught that," she said.
Here is Gvardiol, short of the halfway line. Campbell dropped in between the two central defenders, and now it's with Raum at left back, and Leipzig are forced back by Manchester City. Those two Haaland goals are the difference that will take Manchester City's name into Friday's quarter-final draw of the Champions League. Gvardiol slides into the challenge, goes balloons up in the air by Rodri, plays it towards Haaland. Haaland turns in the penalty area with his back to goal, tries to then cut the ball back into a central area, but the referee has blown his whistle. And Haaland is adjudged, I think, to have committed a foul as 5 minutes to go to the break.
Yeah, I mean, Rodri there just squeezing the fullback, and it's a ricochet off Rodri. It goes high up in the sky, and Rodri has 2 or 3 looks to his left behind him. Have I got time to bring it down? He hasn't really got time to bring it down, so he goes first time across the box. It's a great ball into Haaland. Haaland gets there before the defender, and I'm thinking, swing your right foot, you're only 8 yards out, but he tries to find another teammate. Could have had his hat-trick already.
As you know, Karen, I'm one to give Blaswich a lot of credit. That was a very good save with that right hand.
Yeah, it was. I think what people don't really understand is, sometimes it takes... You have to try and take the most direct route to the ball, obviously, and sometimes that's taking your plant foot out and then getting your hand straight to the ball as fast as possible. You don't always necessarily have time to create a push. Yeah, exactly. So it's good technique for him getting his hand there as fast as possible and leading with it.
And there we have Dion, further evidence of the goalkeepers' union.
I'm not biased at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's get an update from the Riverside in the Championship. Chris Coles.
Middlesbrough still leading Stoke by 1-0. We too have 5 minutes to play until half-time. Stoke are giving this a real go. They haven't wilted under Middlesbrough pressure. A couple of good chances wasted too. The recent one, Tyrese Campbell, good position, firing straight at Zach Steffen. Good game this. Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 0.
So a point behind Sheffield United, although they would have now played a game more than Paul Heckingbottom's side. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff, as Chris was saying. Half-times in the other. Blackpool 4, QPR 1, Millwall Swansea's goalless, Rotherham 1, Preston North End 2, Watford lead Birmingham City by 2-0, and Wigan, who are struggling in the relegation zone, are drawing 0-0 at home to Coventry City at the break. This is the Champions League. It's live on 5 Live. Szoboszlai finds Forsberg, turns inside the centre circle, can't get it on to the path of Henriks. Henriks hasn't got forward half as much as he did when he came on as a second-half substitute in Leipzig 3 weeks ago. Bernardo Silva now on this right-hand side for Manchester City, goes away from Raum, comes inside once again, and then in the end it required Hadara, but he breezed past both Raum and Campbell with ease.
Yeah, I mean, great sort of body movement while you got the ball at your feet. He's not looking at the ball at all. Silva goes past 2, just heavy touch on the third defender, but yeah, looking confident. What City have done tonight, I mean, Silva's hogged this right wing. Grealish hasn't moved from the left. Normally, sometimes they'll interplay, they'll change positions, but they've let De Bruyne do what he wants, and they've just hugged both flanks, and it's really made the pitch big for Leipzig. They found it difficult.
But what is interesting is Manchester City come forward with Grealish on the left-hand side. Whilst you were saying that, De Bruyne has almost gone up in a line level with Haaland, but he's in between Raum and Gvardiol on that left side of defence. So that gives Raum a problem, doesn't it? Because Raum's then thinking, have I got De Bruyne? And if I leave him, he goes through the inside channel as the ball goes out to Grealish on the left-hand side, low ball. Or I've got Bernardo Silva out wide.
It's so clever, isn't it? I think you're seeing that from, obviously, Haaland occupying the centre halves and giving Gvardiol a problem. And then, to your point, when does Raum join in? But it also gives a problem for
Okay, with the low cross, almost there. Gvardiol cut out. Sorry, Karen.
No, it also gives Campbell a question as well.
Rodri comes forward, stopped by Hadara on the edge of the area. Under 2 minutes to go to half-time. Manchester City lead 2-0. The next goal is going to be so crucial in this tie. Was that offside against Werner? Werner enters the penalty area, cuts it back. There is a Kanji. There's the late flag. Late flag, free kick to Manchester City.
But yeah, to your earlier point, I think both of those players working together in tandem, understanding, what the role of the 9 is. How does Kevin De Bruyne complement that? How does he create space for Bernardo Silva on the flank? How does he give Campbell a question? Who do I mark? Who do I pick up? What does that leave? Where does the space for Gundogan? When John Stones gets forward, there's a lot of opportunities for cutbacks, and I think we spoke about mixing it up and multiple threats going forward. I think you're starting to see a real dynamic addition to City in front of goal at the minute.
Who lead by 2-0, 3-1 on aggregate. These are the half-time scores in a handful of games in League One. Accrington Stanley 0, Portsmouth 1. Accrington are down to 10 men. Bristol Rovers 0, Wycombe 1. Burton 1, Peterborough United 3. And Morecambe 0, Charlton 3. So Morecambe remain in trouble. Szoboszlai back with Campbell. Now to Gvardiol. Every outfield player is in the City half. That hasn't happened on too many occasions in this first half tonight, as Manchester City force Leipzig back towards their goalkeeper, all in green, away towards our right-hand side. And Stones climbs really, really high on this near side the right as the right back. Just a handful of games in League Two as well. And these are the half-time scores. Newport 0, Wimbledon 1. Northampton lead Mansfield by 1-0. They would remain fourth, but just a point behind Stevenage, who are currently drawing at home to Crewe. Ball played in towards Haaland. Haaland with the cross, flags up anyway. It'll be a free kick to Gvardiol. Sutton United 0, Grimsby Town 1, Walsall 0, Swindon 0 is a latest score, and 2 minutes of added on time. And Manchester City looking good at the moment.
Yeah, in possession, looking good. Looking really good, looking composed. I think John Stones has done well. He stayed in that right back spot when he needs to. When they're out of possession, then he goes in to that middle of midfield, and he's looked very composed in there as well. I'm really impressed with the two wide men of City, Silva and Grealish tonight. Been very, very disciplined. Played their part when they need to, but the way that Guardiola set them up, very aggressive nature.
We'll be hearing more from Dion and Karen at half-time, but De Bruyne picks it up on that left-hand side, just in from the touchline, charges forward with a cross and forces Gvardiol to commit. He had to try and keep pace with Haaland, and it was a sliding clearance into that Leipzig support behind that goal. But certainly Manchester City, leading by 2-0, have carried that greater threat once they'd got those 2 goals in the space of 60 seconds that really rocked RB Leipzig. So we're last 45 seconds remaining of this first half. BBC Radio 5 Live. In comes the corner, the header off the post, and eventually it's gone in. Erling Haaland might well have got the final touch, and if that is the case, then that is yet another hat-trick. 5 hat-tricks for Manchester City as they lead by 3-0. Who got the touch? Haaland, as a striker, will say it's mine. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, Manchester City 3, RB Leipzig 0.
Yeah, I actually think the header comes from Diaz. I mean, Diaz heads it. It's a great corner as well, by the way. It's an in-swinger. Diaz gets it. It goes, it hits the post, it rolls across the line.
Haaland.
It is Haaland.
Oh, that's savage.
I do believe that the keeper gets there. He keeps it out, the keeper. And the defender, I'm not sure who the defender is trying to clear it, but he clears it onto Haaland's legs. Haaland's the one who reacts the quickest, gets the plaudits, and gets a first half hat-trick.
Wow. Haaland with a hat-trick. I mean, he was pointing to say, nothing to do with me. But he got the final touch, literally running the ball in on the goal line. And Manchester City now can certainly, with confidence, look forward to a place in the last 8. Because the half-time score here at the Etihad, thanks to Erling Haaland, is Manchester City 3, RB Leipzig 0. and City lead 4-1 in the tie. Kelly.
Ian Dennis, thank you very much for now. Karen, what did you make of that controlled performance from Manchester City in the first half?
Oh, I loved it. It was fantastic. I mean, the way the game started was end-to-end, really high pace, really intense. But you saw some, fantastic moments where the team, both teams really grew into it. But I think for me, the pivotal moment was obviously that penalty for Haaland. And as soon as that was converted, as soon as that ball went over the line, I think it was just going to be a whole new night for Manchester City. And we saw that. We saw, he did the little things right that Pep's been asking him to do in terms of getting back on side, making sure that, he's pressing hard, following up in terms of that cross for the second goal. The shot from the second goal that came off the crossbar from Kevin De Bruyne. It's just been exceptional in terms of the pressure being lifted and allowing City to play with such freedom. I've really enjoyed it. And Leipzig have put up a great fight in the first maybe first 15 minutes of the first half, but yeah, I think they just look deflated now.
Dion, I'm going to put you in the position of Grinch, which is not a natural one for you at the moment. But look, as Karen said, on balance of play, City good for the 3-0 lead and fantastic hat-trick from Haaland. But as she said, that penalty decision was a pivotal moment in the first half, and there are a few questions being asked of the decision-making by the referee on that, and on the Ederson foul later in the first half, which actually ended up, I think, going City's way. What have you made of those more controversial moments?
Yeah, the penalty one, the handball, very, very harsh. I don't personally think it should be, but under the laws of the game, it's always going to be. If a referee's been sent to the screen, the VAR think it's a penalty, so go and have a look. We think it's a pen. That's what they're basically saying. In regards to the Ederson challenge, I think City are very, very lucky. Leipzig will be absolutely livid that he didn't even get a yellow card, possibly a red if you're really going over the top. Yellow card at least. He missed the ball. He came out flying. He was about 30 yards out of his box, 40 yards out of his box. Missed the ball completely, took the player out, and I believe it should have been a free kick and maybe a yellow card. Ederson has now gone in half-time thinking, I've got away with one.
Having said that, Dion, a striker's appreciation for Erling Haaland with 31 goals in 25 games in the Championship. That's fewer matches than any other player to get to 31 goals, and the youngest player to get to 30 in the history of the Champions League.
Yeah, just amazing. If he works on his heading, I think he'll be even better.
That's what he said, that he's going to be working on. That's what Ian Dennis was telling us before the game. Look, Karen, as far as Manchester City are concerned, there's a real opportunity for them to go out and just be able to relax into that second half, because they've got themselves in a really good position. And we talked before the game about that understanding between De Bruyne and Haaland. And for the second goal, the follow-up from Haaland came from a brilliant shot. What a goal that would have been from Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh, it was a beauty, wasn't it? I mean, we had one heck of a view, and the trajectory on it was just so flat. There was hardly any rotation, and it just rattled the crossbar. And, the awareness, again, for Haaland to do the little things well that Pep's been asking him, to get back on side and have the awareness to sit in that half space in between the center backs and obviously the holding midfield player. It speaks a lot to his understanding of what he is being asked to do. And I think, yeah, to your point, or even Dion's point about heading, he's understood. All he needs to do is just do the simple things right, get some contact on it, and redirect it. Keep us on the floor.
I think his second one, the header from the crossbar. That is a really difficult finish, I've got to say. A very difficult finish. Hits the bar, bounces, goes very high, and he has to leap very high, control it, put power on it, put it past the keeper. It's a very, very good finish.
So here's one for you, right?
Go on, Deno.
What part of his body did he get his third goal? Are we talking of a perfect hat-trick?
Shin?
Was it his left?
But it was his right.
Leg?
Or was it his right?
Because we're talking left-footed penalty, header. If he comes off his right leg, that's a perfect hat-trick.
I don't think he's going to be bothered, to be honest.
I don't think he'll claim that, to be fair.
I know, but I keep this is...
Is it a lot? Sorry, Kelly, it's for Deno's log. He's trying to write me down.
Kelly, if you've got one job to do...
That's that is now my role for the whole of the next 45 minutes. I'm going to be your water boy, Deno, for the next 45 minutes. We will find out if that was a perfect hat-trick for Erling Haaland. but it's 3 goals for him, 3 goals for Manchester City. They lead 4-1 on aggregate against RB Leipzig in that round of 16 second leg. It is Ian Dennis, Dion Dublin and Karen Barsley at the Etihad for us this evening. We'll be back with them very shortly. Boys in Blue on social media said, I like Haaland dropping deep like this and doing little layoffs because he's completely unmarked when he bursts forward. Andrew said, you only recognise and appreciate the size and power of Erling Haaland when you see him in those sort of settings, charging down rebounds. He's towering over big centre-backs and outpacing them as well. So that one may well be over by half-time. John Bennett has been watching Porto against Inter, this evening's other Champions League last 16 second leg, finally poised. Inter had a 1-0 lead from the first leg. How's this one going, John?
Yeah, still very much in the balance. It's Porto 0, Inter 0, so still that 1-0 lead for the Italian side. Poor game entertainment-wise so far. Porto had a decent effort. Uribe with a shot just wide early on. Great save by Inter's goalkeeper, Andre Onana. That suggested it could be an open game, but it didn't turn out like that. Very slow, very cagey. We have had a couple of opportunities. DiMarco made a great block, the Inter defender, to deny Evan Nilsson, and Dzeko also made Diogo Costa make a decent save. But the Italians won't mind that it's been slow and cagey, because as it stands, they are heading through. And remember, 2006, the last time 3 Italian teams made it to the Champions League last date. It's Porto 0, Inter 0. Inter have a 1-0 lead on aggregate.
John Bennett, for now, thank you very much. And it is half-time in our feature game in the Championship. It's Middlesbrough against Stoke, and just before the break, a late goal, Chris Coles.
Yeah, for Stoke, deserved as well. This has been a good watch. Stoke are here to play, and that's a good thing. Not always the case when teams come to the Riverside. It's 1-1, Middlesbrough striking first. There's an inevitability about Borough goals currently, lots of them, and mostly scored by one man. Chuba Akpom, 24th of the season, also Middlesbrough's 1,000th at the Riverside. Good finish, 6 yards out, central position. He's not been missing those, but Stoke responded well. They continued to push forward. They got their equaliser, scored by the prolific Ki-Jana Hoever. Hadn't scored a league goal prior to last Friday. He's now got 3 in 2 matches, striding into the box, finishing low under the keeper, and it sets up, Kelly, a really interesting second half. Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 1.
Chris, thank you very much. And Chris Coles will bring us updates from that throughout the match itself. Elsewhere in the Championship this evening, Blackpool 4-1 up against QPR. It's goalless between Millwall and Swansea. Rotherham 1, Preston 2, Watford 2, Birmingham 0, and goalless between Wigan and Coventry. Lots of games elsewhere in the EFL. In League 1, Accrington Stanley 0, Portsmouth 1, Bristol Rovers 0, Wycombe 1, Burton 1, Peterborough 3, Morecambe 0, Charlton 3. And in League 2, it's Newport 0, Wimbledon 1, Northampton 1, Mansfield 0, Stevenage 0, Crewe 0, Sutton 0, Grimsby 1, and Walsall 0, Swindon 0. In the National League, it's Barnet 0, Yeovil 0, Boreham Wood 0, Southend 0, Maidenhead 1, Aldershot 1, Notts County 0, Eastleigh 1, Solihull Moors 1, Scunthorpe 1, Wealdstone 0, Chesterfield 2, York City 0, Altrincham 1, and in League 2 in Scotland, Dumbarton against Stirling was postponed. So you can keep an eye on all of those games and all the updates on the BBC Sport website and app. Later on, we're going to be heading off to the Etihad for the second half of Manchester City against RB Leipzig, and we'll head to California for an update on the Indian Wells tennis, and we'll head to Madrid to hear from Jurgen Klopp after the BBC News with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Free childcare for working parents in England is expected to be expanded to cover 1- and 2-year-olds in tomorrow's budget. Currently, working households with 3- and 4-year-olds are eligible for 30 hours of free childcare. The Treasury has not yet formally commented. Russia's military has denied that one of its jets struck down a US drone into the Black Sea, instead saying the unmanned aircraft lost control and crashed. The US military says the drone came down due to an incident involving 2 Russian fighter jets in international airspace. The Pentagon press secretary, General Pat Ryder, said it was reckless and unprofessional.
I think the key point here is that while intercepts in and of themselves are not that uncommon, the fact that this type of behavior from these Russian pilots, that is uncommon and unfortunate and unsafe. And so, again, would echo General Hecker's call on the Russians to continue to fly safely.
A 22-year-old woman who made a series of false allegations of rape and sexual grooming between 2017 and 2020 has been sentenced to 8.5 years in jail. Eleanor Williams from Barrow-in-Furness claimed to have been trafficked in the UK, Amsterdam and Ibiza. She hit herself with a hammer to try to persuade people to believe her stories. The fourth and final televised hustings for the SNP leadership contest has been held on BBC One Scotland. The three MSPs campaigning to replace Nicola Sturgeon as Scotland's First Minister were facing questions from a live studio audience. Our Scotland correspondent James Cook was watching.
Humza Yousaf presenting himself really as the continuity candidate from Nicola Sturgeon with what he calls a progressive agenda. Kate Forbes talking about her priority. She says that's to get the economy growing, to tackle poverty. And Ash Regan, who's really put independence at the heart of this campaign.
And Meta, which owns Facebook, has announced plans to cut a further 10,000 jobs. The company laid off 11,000 staff in November.
This is 5 Live, your football station.
The UEFA Champions League.
With Kelly Cates.
Second half commentary coming up from the Etihad. Man City 3-0 up against RB Leipzig, 4-1 on aggregate. Erling Haaland with a hat-trick. Let's head to the tennis at Indian Wells. British number 1 Cam Norrie is taking on Andrei Rublev for a place in the quarterfinals. Here's Russell Fuller.
And they are just about to walk onto the court. Norrie is the 10th seed, Rublev is the 6th seed. The meeting at the US Open in the 4th round stage last September did not go to plan for Cameron Norrie, but he thinks the conditions here in the Californian desert, where the hard courts play more like clay courts, will suit him. He was a quarter-finalist last year, Norrie, and he won the title when it was played in October of 2021.
And what's happened elsewhere today, Russell?
Well, the match on the main stadium court, Stadium Court 1, is still in progress, the first match of the day, and Daniil Medvedev, who dropped the first set on a tie-break to Alex Zverev, has won the second on a tie-break and now has the break in the third, leading by 3-2, trying to extend his 16-match winning streak. And on the women's side, Maria Sakkari has just gone through in 3 sets against Karolina Pliskova, and Coco Gauff also taken to 3 sets by the Swedish qualifier Rebecca Peterson, but she's won the decider 6-4.
Russell, thank you very much. Russell Fuller will keep us up to date with everything that's happening with Cam Norrie, and you can hear commentary on 5 Sports Extra. Let's get you up to date with the day's other sports stories. Constitution Hill produced a memorable performance to win the champion hurdle today at the Cheltenham Festival. Honeysuckle won a memorable mare's hurdle under Rachel Blackmore. FIFA has today switched the format for the expanded 2026 World Cup back to 4-team groups. It's switched the format for the expanded 2026 World Cup back to 4-team groups, so groups of 4 teams. It'll be hosted by the United States, Mexico and Canada, and was due to feature 16 groups of 3 because the number of teams is increasing from 32 to 48. Basically, there's just going to be game after game after game. Full commentary tomorrow evening on 5 Live Sport of the second leg of Liverpool's Champions League last 16 tie away to Real Madrid. The trail 5-2. It was a bruising encounter at Anfield a couple of weeks ago. Here's Jurgen Klopp speaking earlier today.
3 weeks ago, Madrid, with a result, Madrid is through to the next round. But now we are 3 weeks later and we know there's a game to play. And if there is only 1% chance, I would like to give it a try. So we are here to play an extremely strong opponent and try to win the game tomorrow. And as difficult as it is, that's probably possible. Not likely, but possible. And for that we are here. And then we will see where it leads us to.
That was Jurgen Klopp looking ahead to the game against Real Madrid, which Liverpool trail by 5-2. Our correspondent, John Murray, will bring us commentary of that one. Is already in Madrid for us. Where in Madrid are you, John Murray?
Good evening, Kelly. We found a little place, actually. It's over the main drag, the big road that goes north from the city centre up towards the Bernabeu Stadium, and we're just in a spot over the other side of the road from there with the rest of the 5 Live team.
Hasn't it?
Yes, I've had my wallet stolen on the Madrid metro, which was a bit of a blow. It was a bit of a pincer movement, and before I knew what had happened, it had vanished out of my pocket, which has never happened to me before. But I suppose that's life, isn't it? You have to deal with these kind of things, don't you, and just carry on.
And it also means you don't need to pick up the bill for dinner. So, you know, positives from everything.
That's a very good point.
Jurgen Klopp trying to find the positives for Liverpool against Real Madrid. I suppose it's this kind of nothing to lose, free hit mentality.
Yeah, big blow. Jordan Henderson's not able to be here, so he's been ruled out with illness. And incidentally, Stefan Bajcetic is not here either because he's got a stress injury. He's got a stress problem at an adductor injury, so he might be out for a little while. But certainly not to have the captain, Jordan Henderson, here for a match like this. Yeah, the thing is, it would be nigh on mission impossible, wouldn't it, to do this, to turn this around against the defending champions, the 14 times winners of this competition, European Cup or Champions League. But I like Jurgen Klopp's approach today, and he had that look about him. No one thinks we can do this, do you? He said, the people in this room, 100% of you don't think we're going to do this, but he says, so that means we are alone with a little bit of a chance.
John Murray, for now, thank you very much. Buon approvecho. Lots more from John Murray and the team ahead of that game tomorrow in Madrid. It's Real Madrid against Liverpool, and they're underway at the Etihad for the second half of Manchester City against RB Leipzig with Karen Bardsley, Dion Dublin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Kelly. And if John was talking about mission impossible for Liverpool, I think that applies for Leipzig in this second half. Indeed, they would have to probably do a Liverpool. Seen some stunning European comebacks at Anfield in recent years. Borussia Dortmund in the Europa League. Barcelona, of course, famously in the Champions League. But when Manchester City are 3-0 up with a hat-trick, and we've had it confirmed, Kelly, you can rest easy in the second half. That last touch did come off the right leg of Erling Haaland. So a perfect hat-trick for Erling Haaland in the first half, and Manchester City lead by 3-0. No changes to tell you about regarding the team. So Ederson is in goal. Back four of Stones, Akanji, Diaz and Ake. Midfield three of Gundogan, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Haaland and Jack Grealish. Sky blue shirts, white shorts. Manchester City playing from right to left as we look against a RB Leipzig side, predominantly in black jerseys with a little splash of red. Black shorts and playing from left to right, and they have Blasvic in goal. Back four of Henriks, Orban, Guardiol and Raum, Lima, Campbell and Hadara, Szoboszlai, Werner and Forsberg. But the two goals in the space of a minute from Haaland, 23 and 24, really did rock Leipzig. And then in first half injury time, running that ball in off the goal line after Diaz's header had hit the post, probably was the final straw for Marco Rose.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for them, it really is, because I don't think City are going to take their foot off the gas at all. They'll keep coming, they'll want more. Pep doesn't rest on his laurels, and he'll want more goals and more performances.
Indeed, at this stage, a few years ago, they beat Schalke by 7-0 at home, as Grealish gets the return ball from De Bruyne. The next goal, incidentally, will be 100 goals for Manchester City in all competitions this season. That's what they get for being predictable, Karen Bardsley. You just predict them to score goals and more goals.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, what do you even say? Haaland's been an incredible addition to that. Speaking of which, he's just picked the ball in the midfield.
And here is Gundogan to Grealish, left corner of the area. Grealish pulls it back. Gundogan turns. Gundogan with a shot, takes a deflection. They've racked up the century. A century of goals, 100 not out. Leipzig are going out. Manchester City are going through. The quarterfinals beckon. Manchester City 4, RB Leipzig 0.
Yeah, that's just patience. The ball's on the left wing here with Grealish. About 30 seconds before they score, they go through the thirds, back towards their own goal. It goes to Ederson. He picks out Bernardo Silva. Opposite the dugout on the far side of the pitch, round the corner, De Bruyne, pass. Patience. And then you've got De Bruyne at edge of the box. It's just an absolutely beautiful goal to watch.
It really is, and with Haaland as well coming deep, he's obviously, I think Red Bull are looking for him to press in terms of the back four, but coming in and picking up and then just distributing. And what a simple, exquisite finish from Bernardo. I mean, that exudes Gundogan, doesn't it? Because he's so calm on the ball. he knew.
Keeper, yes or no? Keeper, no?
Well, it's a tough angle, isn't it? Because there's not a lot of pace, but it's all about placement there. But yeah, I think Blaswich will be disappointed with conceding that.
So 4-0 Manchester City, and we're only 5 minutes into the second half. Morecambe 1, Charlton 3, Accrington 0, Portsmouth 2, Bristol Rovers 0, Wickham 2. And in the Championship, the latest scores in the Championship: Blackpool 5, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Millwall 2, Swansea 1, Rotherham 1, Preston 2, Watford 2, Birmingham 0, Wigan 0, Coventry 1. Wigan now bottom of the Championship, and Middlesbrough 1, Stoke City 1. We've got Chris Coles at the Riverside. 5 Live final score is available, the red button and the iPlayer this evening. We heard from John Murray at half-time. Live in Madrid tomorrow for Real Madrid against Liverpool. There's going to be no special comeback for RB Leipzig. Thursday night, we turn our attentions to the Europa League. We stay in España. Real Betis against Manchester United, and then coverage of Arsenal Sporting. And then on Friday, Gold Cup Day. I wonder if that is going to be a regular feature with Nico de Boinville on 5 Live Sport. The coverage, by the way, of day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival is on Sports Extra tomorrow afternoon with John Hunt and the team as Haaland back with De Bruyne. Oh, just Rodri kept alive by Diaz. They look hungry for more goals, Dion.
Yeah, they look hungry. They look very composed. They're passing the ball at the right time. They're giving their teammate lots of time on the ball as well. As soon as they see the correct pass, teammates in space, pass it to him. Pass the ball on, pass the time on with it.
Ball out to the far side. De Bruyne with the cross, and on the stretch was Gvardiol. That could have gone anywhere. It's gone behind. This could be a long second half, Karen, for RB Leipzig.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way, and I think it's this attitude that you love to see, like for Manchester City. And to your point earlier, Deno, what predictability here. I mean, we know what Pep Guardiola was going to do in terms of this preparation for this game and everything that he learned and the adjustments he's made from the first leg. And I certainly think that this could get quite embarrassing for RB Leipzig.
Well, De Bruyne with the outswinging corner. It's going to come out to Grealish. He plays it to Gundogan. Back with Ake, and now with Bernardo Silva, who sends in a teasing cross, and it actually runs away off the legs of Lima and behind for another corner kick for Manchester City. Don't think there's been any other goals to tell you about elsewhere, but Stephen Quinn has been sent off for Mansfield, who are still trailing at Sixfields at Northampton by a 1-0. Corner kick. De Bruyne goes a little bit deeper this time. Bernardo Silva with his header back towards that far side, and Haaland climbed very, very high. And as it drops to Haaland, he rattles in his 4th and Manchester City's 5th. They are marching into the last 8 of the Champions League in some style. It's the Haaland show.
I don't even think they've got into a march into the second half. They're strolling past Leipzig at the moment. They look, their shoulders are down, their body language is terrible. City have come out absolutely flying. I mean, they just look, Bernardo Silva from the corner, it's pinged to the far post. Bernardo Silva, one of the smallest men on the pitch, has kept it alive. Haaland's had a header, it's been saved, it's come back out to him, and he's been lively. He's been very lively. Keeper makes 2 very good saves, actually, and then, unfortunately, he parries it to one of the most potent finishes in world football. And he's on 4 goals, Karen.
You know, if you're playing volleyball, the way that sometimes you set somebody up for a smash, that header from Bernardo Silva was, here you go, son.
So lined up, right? So lined up. But, I mean, listen, Blaswich has been RB Leipzig's best player. He's made some fantastic saves tonight, and he's just going to be really disappointed with the result, but sometimes you just have to try and make saves, and that's all you can really do as a keeper.
But then, to make matters worse, Guardiola decides to make a double change, and he brings on Mahrez and Foden, and the players who come off are Grealish and Gundogan. And Grealish really got a warm embrace from Pep Guardiola, and on a chilly night where we've had wintry showers, There is a real glow of satisfaction about Manchester City as a rendition of Blue Moon is sung by the City support, because Mahrez and Foden now will want to get in on the act. And I mentioned before, when they trounced Schalke here 7-0, they're in that type of form.
Yeah, they're in that little zone now, that confident zone, and we can beat anybody zone. That the way they're passing the ball about. I mean, De Bruyne is going where he wants. Haaland's just doing his job as a 9, and Bernardo's. I mean, I think Jack Grealish was absolutely outstanding part he's played tonight. Didn't get himself on the score sheet, but just contributed in everything positively.
Burton 2, Peterborough 5 is the latest score. Morecambe 1, Charlton 4. As the ball goes back to Blasvish, Haaland was hunting. How to get rid of that rather hurriedly, did the keeper. Newport 1, Wimbledon 1. And then the ball has been cleared away by Gvardiol. And Leipzig just look a little bit shell-shocked at the moment. The ball chipped forward to Werner. And Manchester City are in total and utter control as Foden glides across the greasy surface with the ball glued to his boot. And then Rodri strokes it out towards the right-hand side. And Mahrez is on the attack. And now he comes on the inside. And Mahrez, he's got some support. Oh, excellent footwork by Mahrez. Moves it out towards Stones. Slows the move down. Works over the cross. The header spooned out by the goalkeeper. And they were almost, Mahrez trying to get on the act. He's gone behind for a corner kick. They're overworked.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, Mahrez, a little bit of skill on the edge of the box. And Stones is on the right corner of the box, right wing, as City go forward, and he thought he was offside. Stones, linesman didn't put his flag up, and he sort of just whipped it in as if to say, I'll put it in there anyway because I'm offside, and he wasn't.
Corner kick, right corner of the area. Mahrez, Akanji beaten down, fired back in by Haaland. This is getting ridiculous. That's Haaland's 5th. Manchester City have got another one. 6-0 against RB Leipzig. They're running riot. Absolutely running riot.
Get him off. Get him off as soon as possible. He's just not going to stop scoring goals. He just puts himself in the right position all the time. He's got the knack. He knows where the ball's going to land. Again, it's just bits in the box. It's a ball that falls to him. He's 10 yards out. He's moving. I'm watching the replay here. Keeper again. Keeper gets it out of a dangerous area, but he palms it. I mean, it's Akanji at the near post. Akanji is 2 yards away from the keeper. Akanji, keeper makes a reacted save there, which is not a bad save, to be fair. He's only got a yard to work with. But who's it fall to? 6 yards out. On his right foot. He might score 2 perfect hat-tricks in a minute, Demo. You never know.
Oh, my God, that was tremendous, wasn't it? I mean, that near-post run from Akanji, obviously freezing the goalkeeper as well.
Brilliant.
Getting a touch on it, putting it on target, forcing that save. I mean, it's a good, in terms of reactions, he's made the save to keep the ball at the back of the net. He's put it in a really poor area in terms of...
He's got no choice, has he?
No, he hasn't. That's it's reaction save, isn't it? But, oh, my word, in terms of framing the goal, in terms of an out-and-out 9, putting yourself in areas where the ball's going to fall to you, that's exceptional from Haaland.
8 attempts on goal, 8 on target. He scored 5.
Doesn't get enough touches.
Touché. Joe Pigott has been sent off for Portsmouth. Shot comes in from distance from Szoboszlai. So both teams have had a player sent off at Accrington Stanley. It's Portsmouth who lead 2-0, but Joe Pigott has been dismissed midway through the second half. And Manchester City emphatically going through 6-0 on the night, 7-1 on aggregate. Their biggest home win in the Champions League was that 7-0 against Schalke in 2019. We haven't even reached the hour mark yet.
We're at 59 minutes. It's just it's potent play from City. Every time they go forward, there's no mercy. Score. If there's a chance to be had, hit the target. That's what it's all about. Be ruthless. Be a team that nobody wants to play against.
Honestly, and the instant impact that Phil Foden and Mahrez have had coming on. I mean, when that 6th goal went in, you could see Gvardiol was actually holding his face in exasperation. You just, like, what else can he actually do? They're in absolutely incredible form right now, City.
Guardiola wants to make more changes. Manchester City 6, Leipzig 0. I think it's fair to say that they've got their wings tonight.
Oh my word!
I can't believe you went there, Deno.
Yeah, he does it a lot.
You're better
Karen,
than that.
Fine.
No, I'm not. Karen, I'm really not. Let's go to Chris Coles.
Where it's Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 1. Stoke's ambition continues to make this a really decent watch. They're looking the more threatening with 59 minutes played. Nothing clear-cut in terms of chances, but they're seeing much more of the ball, frustrating Middlesbrough. They're not used to this. Stoke fans, and dare I say it, Sheffield United fans enjoying this currently. Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 1.
Yeah, there was a stage, wasn't there, when they were leading by a goal to 0 of moving within a point of Sheffield United. Leipzig can't get anywhere near close to Manchester City at the moment. Here is Stones. They are such a joy to watch as well, aren't
they are a joy to watch, and you know, there's performances tonight, and like you say, we've just gone over the hour mark, and performances by Stones, very good. Grealish is off, I know, but very good. Rodri again, been very, very sturdy. Just staying in that area, away from De Bruyne, doing everything else, doing all the work that nobody else wants to do, keeping it alive. Very, very composed footballer. One of the most improved as well, I've got to say, in the Premier League, Rodri.
Julian Alvarez is going to be coming on. He recently scored his first goal away from home for Manchester City at Bournemouth. Watford 3, Birmingham 0. So Chris Wilder getting his first win as Watford manager in his first at Vicarage Road. Only one win in 9 before tonight. Calvin Phillips is going to get a much-needed run out, and we're going to see the lesser-spotted Sergio Gomez too, for only his 15th appearance since he arrived from Anderlecht. But this is the beauty, isn't it, I guess, of such a handsome scoreline.
Yeah, and just allowing yourself to look over your shoulder as a manager and think, yeah, I can give these guys some good minutes, a good half an hour, get them over the white line, get them up to speed with game pace. Good to see Phillips out there as well. I hope he has a nice little cameo role to play. But listen, the squad that Pep has is incredibly strong, and it's never weakened. Doesn't matter who you bring on and who you bring off, it's never weakened.
Well, Andre Silva has come on. Werner's gone off. Forsberg is another one who's gone off. Youssef Poulsen has come on. So that's at least 2 strikers that have come on to the field of play. But and then the other one looks like it's going to be Simakan who's coming on. But whilst Manchester City make these 3 changes, the reaction, Karen, of the crowd to Erling Haaland says it all.
It really does. I mean, listen to this. What an appreciation for this man's talent and how much he's willing to work, and his commitment to the team. You know, he's taken a lot of criticism on the chin. He's taken a lot of criticism from his manager. You know, is Haaland the problem? Clearly not.
What's going on with City? Haaland's here. They've got to change the way they play. They're having an absolute stinker, I don't think.
But it's exciting, isn't it, going forward? I mean, looking at some of the talent coming on, the likes of Stones that's come on in terms of his recovery from that hamstring injury, and the role that he's been playing tonight, coming into that central midfield. He looks so comfortable, doesn't he?
Yeah, good footballer. On Saturday, that was his first start against Palace since the end of January.
Right, yeah.
And so now all of a sudden he's made to make the changes. Sergio Gomez comes on for John Stones, and it was Rodri, wasn't it, who went off for Calvin Phillips. So I think we're about up to date with the changes, and Manchester City and Erling Haaland.
I can't believe they just put out another squad.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, if you look at the midfield now, it's Foden, Bernardo Silva, Phillips and De Bruyne.
And De Bruyne sending over a cross. I'll be glad to see the back of Haaland. What did I say his record was? I said his record against Leipzig in Germany was 6 in 4, and then he's just gone and rattled 5 in what was it? Just, well, barely an hour. Incredible stuff from Erling Haaland. Mahrez. Scoring isn't finished though as well. That's the worry from a Leipzig point of view, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I don't think it is. And Pep was talking about Kevin De Bruyne wanting to do the simple things well, get back to the basics, do those well, and all the rest will come. Words to that effect. I think City as a whole have done that very, very well tonight. They've picked the right pass. The movement's been good. The setup's been well. 2 wide players have stayed wide, allowed De Bruyne to do what he needs to do. They've just looked in control at every single moment in this game.
Dion Dublin, Karen Bardsley are with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We are with you through until 10:30 when Colin Murray takes over. As the City fans are now doing the Poznan, which starts off in that far corner next to the away support, and already it's starting to sweep its way around the grounds. Everybody inside the Etihad is enjoying themselves tonight, and no wonder. Even some of the executives in front of us. Not the City executives, the corporate supporters.
It's certainly a party atmosphere tonight, isn't it? I think we should join in, guys.
My knees won't allow it. I'll have to sit down.
Yeah, if you want to join in, Karen, then you...
I'm super tempted.
Yeah. But, well, it's...
It was short-lived anyway.
Certainly a statement of intent from Manchester City against the Leipzig side, third in the Bundesliga, but have just been torn apart. Here is Bernardo Silva playing the ball back. I notice now that some of the Leipzig supporters are trying to follow suit, but they haven't really had a great deal to cheer about. They came here after what had been a confident start that they made in the game, as De Bruyne pulled back. Was he? Referee says no, it was a slip, and Kevin De Bruyne is going to get a yellow card for a show of dissent towards the referee Slavko Vincic. So he is booked. There were no players, incidentally, who were running the risk of a yellow card to rule them out of the quarter-finals. Few will relish taking on Manchester City, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, in form like this, with the quality they have, the individual quality they have, if all that quality is playing well at the same time as it has tonight, they are going to be a side that people will want to avoid in this form as well. I mean, and there's been performances that haven't really had scoring opportunities. Bernardo Silva's just been absolutely outstanding tonight. Akanji, the back four, the back three, whatever you want to call it. They've been absolutely on it tonight.
I think that's a great point, Dion, because the defensive stability that City are offering now are giving so much freedom to throw numbers forward.
Out of touch, keeper's that.
He looks like a steward.
He does actually. He could bring on Scott Carson, and I don't think it'd really matter. Incidentally, Erling Haaland has equalled Adriano and Lionel Messi for scoring the most goals in a Champions League game with 5. No player has scored 6. He had that opportunity. He may have been a little bit disappointed to have left the field of play, but 5 goals from Haaland. I do struggle with my figures, and at one stage I was thinking, how many is that when he scored the 5th? But didn't quite need the abacus just as yet. But Leipzig, well, away from home, actually they don't have fond memories now of Manchester. Looking at their record, this is their record defeat in European competition. Their previous heaviest loss was 5-0 at Old Trafford in 2020, and that's just been surpassed. So they'll describe it as the miserable city of Manchester, I think, for Leipzig.
Yeah, I think, and when City get to 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 when they get to that kind of area, then Pep, you know, he's even more meticulous. He's saying to them with his body language, stay professional, keep doing the right things. The way that you've got to this position is because of the way that you've been playing, out of possession, concentration levels. Everything's been right. Everything's been what the manager wants it to be. And when they are all on it, you get a performance like this, which looked very easy for them tonight. Very easy.
Well, they just become relentless, don't they? As they're 2 goals shy of biggest wins in Champions League history. Stevenage have got a late goal. Stevenage are leading Crewe 11 minutes from time at Broadhall Way as they look for automatic promotion. Manchester City, though, Benfica, Chelsea, Milan and Bayern. I don't think there's still been any goals in the Estadio Dragao, so it still remains Porto 0, Inter 0. So Inter leading 1-0 from the first leg, and then it's just resting on who else will complete that quarter-final lineup. You'd think Napoli against Eintracht Frankfurt, and you'd obviously have to favour Real Madrid against Liverpool. Coventry have got an equaliser at Wigan. Wigan 1, Coventry 1 in the Championship, as Ake in defence, forward ball to Bernardo Silva, able to turn. Sergio Gomez on this near side. So Wigan, we've got the equaliser, sorry, Wigan. That will take them off the bottom of the table down in the Championship. Wigan 1, Coventry 1 there. We'll give you all the scores as they are complete a little later on. We are available with a red button on the iPlayer and the red button tonight for 5 Live final score. Manchester City, though, coming forward. Here is Bernardo Silva, quickly out now to Foden, does a 360-degree turn, gets the ball back from De Bruyne, plays it back to Sergio Gomez. Gomez now plays it short and forward. Bernardo Silva able to turn, works over the cross, blocked on this near side the left, back towards De Bruyne, keeps the ball in play. Calvin Phillips plays it forward, little touch by Foden. The way that they're passing it around, absolutely, it's mesmeric at times.
It is, and the only way that you can play that way and make it look so well is the people off the ball have to find an area so that your teammate can pass it into you. It looks easy, but the hard work is off the ball.
Foden enters the penalty area, left-hand side, and his cross balloons up and is caught by Blasvic. So their long undefeated home record in European competition since Lyon actually won here in September 2018 is going to continue. It'll be 24 games undefeated. They've won 22, including this one, and drawn 2 in that run, and they will now equal Arsenal's record of 24, the longest run by an English side, as the City supporters now turn their lights on their mobile phones. It's a different light show of a different kind here at the Etihad, when City certainly have been illuminating.
Very good. He's very good, isn't he?
Aww.
He's very good.
Excellent.
Yeah, I know. I've got a tear in my eye, actually. He's that good.
Danny Olmo is going to be coming on. Szoboszlai goes off. The lights went out on Leipzig a long time ago, just to keep going with that thread.
I want to see how long you can draw this out for, Dano.
No, you don't.
I do. I really do.
No, you don't. You'll be pressing the off switch very, very soon, I'm sure. 6-0, 18 minutes remaining, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Tomorrow night, Real Madrid, Liverpool. Thursday night, the Europa League. Friday, Gold Cup action at Cheltenham. Mark Chapman making his way down there to Cheltenham for our coverage, but Sports Extra will have coverage of day 2 from 1:15. Portsmouth have got a third goal at Accrington. Accrington 0, Portsmouth 3. You're up to date, no other goals to tell you about. And then, of course, at the weekend, it's FA Cup quarter-final action. Our usual Saturday goal service will be from Southampton at the weekend against Tottenham. That will affect the relegation and the top 4. But for Manchester City, still, of course, in the FA Cup, they take on Burnley at the weekend. The return of Vincent Kompany, still, of course, pursuing Arsenal. 5 points off the top with 11 to play, and going through to the last 8, where their record in this last 16, it's certainly from 2013-2014 remains very, very impressive. This will be a 7th win in what is a 10th season in a row where they've reached the knockout stages of this competition. Just a little bit of a lull now. That avalanche of goals has stopped.
It has, because the goal machine sat on the bench at the moment, so find another way to score goals.
The battering ram.
The battering, very good. The battering ram sat on the bench. I just think City have just taken the spark out of the game, controlling it now, and they're just going to possibly see their way through to this to the latter stages of this cup, which they want so badly.
Yes, it is. It's a competition that they certainly crave. Competition that Pep Guardiola has had his hands on as a player and as a manager. But it's actually 12 years since he last won it in 2011. Never at Bayern did he. 3 times he reached the semi-finals. Runners-up, of course, with Manchester City in 2021. You look at their record in the knockout stages of the Champions League, that have only lost 2 now in 15, if you include this rather. That was Chelsea in the final, and then Real Madrid in last year's semi-final. But Erling Haaland with 5 of the 6 goals.
Yeah, and I've just looked at my my sheet here. It was a 35-minute 5-goal hike. Yes, it's just incredible. We're looking at our pieces of paper here, myself and Karen. Yes, it's 35 minutes to score 5 goals.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no more room for any ticks next to Haaland's name.
Well, do you know now he's scored 33 goals in 25 games in the Champions League, reaching the 30-goal milestone in fewer matches than any other player in the competition's history. And Haaland has also become the youngest player to reach 30 goals in Champions League history at 22 years and 236 days. So the records for Haaland, as Manchester City go in pursuit of 3 trophies. Middlesbrough, well, they're looking for automatic promotion. They're at home to Stoke City. Chris Coles.
Of puns, Ian, is a measure of how competitive a game is, then this is very much a pun-free zone because it's tight. 15 minutes to go. Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 1. Stoke are still the better side. Not many would have predicted that. Not too many chances to speak of, although Will Smallbone, the Stoke midfielder, has come inches from giving Stoke the lead. Right foot shot, a couple of yards wide of the right-hand post. Stoke still carry a threat, not going Middlesbrough's way, but there's still 50 minutes to go. Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 1.
I think if I was to say what was that might have been stretching it. City are attacking, right-hand side.
Wow.
He's a bright spot. It's just unbelievable.
A bright spark?
Yeah.
Oh, you're joining in on the act.
I can't believe you just said that.
Here is Mahrez. Don't worry, we've only got about 14 minutes remaining. Kelly might have switched off by now back in the studio. Oh no, that was unintentional. Here is Olmo. That was a sliding challenge by Akanji, and it's going to result in a yellow card, clattering into the Spanish international. Central position, long way out. Sometimes you just have to enjoy yourself, don't you?
If you can't enjoy this, if you cannot enjoy a performance like this from City, it's just great to watch the world-class footballers play the game how it should be played, and when they get their chances, Karen, just take them.
Just the flashes of excellence.
She's on it, she's in.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Well, this is a free kick for Leipzig. Probably too far out for them to have a long dip at goal. It's it must be approaching 35 yards out for Leipzig. Almost behind it. City have got everybody back. I'm sure that Edison will want his clean sheet. It chipped forward then by Olmo. Headed to the edge of the area. Nobody could get on there. De Bruyne was the one. This is the thing that's still impressive about City. The game's won. They're going through, and yet the work rate off the ball is still as high as ever.
The mentality is unbelievable that Pep Guardiola has instilled in this side. You can see that regardless of what the scoreline is, they want to put out a performance that they're all proud of, something they can reflect on and go, yeah, we left it all out there. Not only does that, leave you in good spirits after this game, but in terms of taking momentum into the next game, there's another trophy on the line here.
Yeah.
It's about getting minutes in the legs and, keeping that morale in the squad up. It's a massive part of management that I think people forget.
Yeah, lots of energy from Manchester City. Accrington 1, Portsmouth 3, Blackpool 6, Queen's Park Rangers 1 at Bloomfield Road in the Championship. Back to Edison, right-hand side. That was a loose ball, goes straight towards Lima, but very alert defending by Diaz to close down Lima as City is Gomez beaten in the air, looking to turn, and the shot from Silva, who tumbles after hitting it low and left-footed wide of the left-hand post. Out of play it goes for a goal kick. Manchester City 6, Leipzig 0, and they're going to make another change. Leipzig, and it's going to be Klostermann who's going to be coming on, the German international defender, and he is replacing Heinrichs. Well, we gave them so much talk about the fullbacks and how it's going to be different, and they've just been blown away.
Yeah, I was really disappointed, to be honest, with Heinrichs tonight. After his display in the second half of that first leg, I was really expecting just an exceptional performance, but I think Rafa Honigstein in the preamble, in the build-up to this game, obviously mentioned that he was really inconsistent and he just hit the nail on the head. So, yeah, that's really disappointing, I think, from him. He'll probably want to get out of Manchester as quickly as possible.
Mahrez with his silky skills and the excellent footwork on the far side. There are a couple of supporters who rose to their feet to applaud Mahrez. Certainly the pace has dropped with that often happens as well, Dean, doesn't it, when you get a raft of substitutions? Sometimes the tempo can drop as a result.
Yeah, I agree. It's just getting the players up to speed of the game, really. The game's been pretty quick in parts, and all those substitutions, it's going to take a while for them to get into the speed of the game, and that's exactly what's happened.
But they've got Burnley to come here at the weekend in the FA Cup quarter-final, so why would you extend yourself? You're just going to... they're well within the rights to play within themselves now at this stage.
Yeah, because, judging on the performance of Leipzig tonight, they've got a much harder game at the weekend against Vincent Kompany's Burnley. I've got to tell you, a lot harder game with a lot more physicality. They won't have the ball as much because Burnley will work so hard. But City in this form, it's hard to bet against them.
Yeah, well, this will be a 5th successive win since that 1-1 draw out in Leipzig. The draw, incidentally, you'll hear it during BBC Radio 5 Live's coverage on Friday, but we've got much more live football to look forward to. Might have a few more goals yet if this comes out. As the shot fired in by Alvarez and goes behind for a corner kick. Hit it right-footed. Full-time scores are coming in now. Watford have beaten Birmingham City by 3-0, but we'll wait for them all to come in, and then we'll rattle through them as the Manchester City supporters rise to their feet over on that far side. And Kevin De Bruyne getting a standing ovation, the midfield maestro, with 8 minutes remaining. Corner's taken short, far side the right. Mahrez plays it towards Gomez. On his outside is Bernardo Silva. It's a left-footed cross. Akanji stayed forward, and his header is saved by Blasvish. The beleaguered Blasvish.
Yes, very good, mate, very good. The thing about it is, I'm just watching Diaz there. Here's Diaz, who just went to get the bits off the keeper. Keeper didn't drop it. He's the furthest player forward. Now he's the furthest player back. That's just the little things that Pep looks for. Do all the hard work for me. Do all the little things I'm asking you to do on the training ground. It might not look like much, but if you do all that well, you've got so much talent that when you have the ball, it'll be easy for you. And that's what happened tonight.
It's about doing your job for the team as well, isn't it? I mean, every single player out here, whether... Oh, Mahrez nearly nicked one then. Every single player has a responsibility to the rest of the team, and I think those are the standards that Pep Guardiola has set in terms of, you might not necessarily get on the ball, or get on the score sheet even, but you need to see the game out.
Ball played up to Silva. He slips, tries to win it back. Gomez, though, brings it away, and Ake, who's gone into that central area to allow Gomez. Akanji's now as the right back. Diaz, Ake and Gomez is that back four for Manchester City. Mahrez has kept the ball in play ever so well right-hand side. Mahrez now twists, enters the penalty area, down towards the byline, and then it's run behind by Raum for a corner kick.
I actually nearly fell off my seat there when Mahrez dropped his shoulder. Mahrez chopped onto his right foot. I didn't know what he was going to do. It was incredible. I thought he was going to cross it, but his dummy was that good that
he might as well have sat laying it down.
I actually think the fullback's on his way back into the stadium now.
Yeah, the returning Raum as Mahrez waits to take the corner kick far side the right. 6-0 to Manchester City. In it comes now. It's a curling ball headed away by Simakan, substitute defender. Foden to De Bruyne. De Bruyne curls it, plenty of elevation. The goalkeeper gets a glove on that. There's a player who's gone down. He's taken out one of his own players in the process.
Yeah, Raum's been clattered, hasn't he? There, I think by the goalkeeper. He's just come out to try and get a punch on it, and he's absolutely just come through Raum.
Left reeling was Raum.
Oh dear. He's absolutely smushed him.
Well, I think his main job after just making sure to keep the ball away. I mean, I don't know whatever was your heaviest defeat or how many goals, the most you conceded as a goalkeeper.
We don't talk about that, then, no.
But there must become a point where you're thinking just for the final whistle to end.
Well, you know, in a situation like this for a goalkeeper, in my experience, I think you just want to make saves. So even when, it doesn't go your way, he's still made a lot of saves tonight that he can be really proud of. And all you can really do is judge your performance on that. Like, he's not made a ton of mistakes. I mean, maybe he could have put a few deflections or reactive deflections in certain areas, maybe a bit better. But to be honest, on the whole, he's not really done a whole lot wrong. So I think it's difficult, I think, as a goalkeeper when you're talking about reflecting on your experience. I mean, there's a penalty, an absolute worldie off the crossbar, you know, a follow-up from Harlan. Like, the initial reaction saves, he's not really done a whole lot wrong. So I always found it really difficult when when balls went in the back of the net. I always got really, really hung up on it, and that like perfectionist mindset starts to creep in, and this is just something he's going to have to chalk off and take the positives from.
I think when you look at the City side of things, unfortunately, and as boring as it is, if you look at Kevin De Bruyne's performance tonight and what he does for the team, I'm not talking about the way he passes it, it's just his attitude towards the game itself and his attitude towards stamping his authority on the game by the way he plays, by the way he talks, the organisation. No wonder he's got the armband, because he plays like a kid's covered every blade of grass. Again, attitude is absolutely spot on.
What I really like about Kevin De Bruyne is, you know, some of the stuff he discussed in his pre-match press conference as well. Like, a lot of the stuff that matters to us, to the fans, doesn't matter to him. He's not fussed about goals. He's not fussed about statistics. He's about the creative aspect, you know, the hard work. He's fussed about winning. It doesn't matter how or who scores or anything like that. He's not bothered about the noise that surrounds a lot of these competitions. He doesn't go home and think about, oh, well, so-and-so didn't pass me the ball today, or, oh, I didn't do that. He'll just go, right, I want an opportunity to put it right. Let's get it out on the training pitch. I'll try this, I'll try that. It works, it doesn't. I'll keep trying. And he's never deterred from making mistakes.
Yeah, well, he's certainly been an integral part of what has been a perfect City performance tonight. 6-0, 3 minutes remaining of normal time. They're still playing at the Riverside. Middlesbrough 1, Stoke City 1. So Sheffield United's lead over Middlesbrough for that second automatic promotion spot will be 3 points, and there'll be about 3 or 4 minutes left of normal time there. But the 7:45 games in the Championship have finished. Blackpool 6, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Millwall have beaten Swansea 2-1. Rotherham United 1, Preston North End 2, and Watford have beaten Birmingham City 3-0 in Chris Wilder's first game at the Vicarage Road. And Wigan 1, Coventry 1. So Wigan are actually off the bottom of the table. I mentioned Middlesbrough. Chris Coles is there.
The play, Ian. Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 1, but Stoke pushing for a winner. Middlesbrough are hanging on. Will Smallbone denied by Zach Steffen. Good save. And the best chance of the match, Jacob Brown, header, 4 yards out. Shouldn't have given Steffen a chance, but he did, and he kept it out. Middlesbrough 1, Stoke 1, 3 and a bit minutes to play. 4
results in League One. Accrington 1, Portsmouth 3. Both teams finished with 10 men. Bristol Rovers 0, Wycombe 2. Burton Albion 2, Peterborough 5. And Morecambe remain in the relegation zone after a 4-1 defeat at home to Charlton Athletic. And the final scores in League 2 are also in. Newport and Wimbledon finish 1-1. Northampton Town beat Mansfield Town by a goal to 0. They remain fourth, but Stevenage, after a 1-0 win over Crewe, goes second, ahead of Carlisle United. Sutton 0, Grimsby 1, Walsall 0, Swindon Town 0. Grimsby, of course, the first fourth-tier side to reach the FA Cup quarter-finals. They'll be in action at Brighton. Coverage, of course, at the weekend, since a certain Cambridge United back in 1990.
It's ages ago, that is.
That featured a man just towards my left-hand side. Not that I'm trying to make you feel old.
Yeah. I feel old, but it's fine. I am old. Thank you very much for reminding me.
Let's get an update from the tennis. Russell Fuller. Russell's not there just at the moment.
Very quickly.
Yeah, and back to the discussion about...
No, don't think we can do that.
I think Russell's laughing at me.
We did try.
So old.
We did try. We'll get there in the end with Kelly, because we're on air until 10:30. Real Madrid, Liverpool, commentary tomorrow. I've been told to try again. Here's Russell.
Here this time, Ian. Jeff Tarango was just telling a very good story from the 1950s or 1960s about his time on tour. But never mind. Cameron Norrie's played a brilliant first set against Andrei Rublev. He's won it by 6 games to 2. The volcanic Rublev is threatening to erupt at regular intervals.
Thank you, Russell. From my memories of Jeff, I think I did Wimbledon once in 2007. I bet you that's a cracking story. I'm half tempted to try and take editorial control, but we'll stay with the football in the closing minutes. I'm not too sure how much added on time there will be. Of Manchester City 6, RB Leipzig 0. 2 minutes. There's never 2 minutes with all the substitutions have been made. What did they say? They wanted to bring in the mercy law. I think that's the referees being extremely lenient on RB Leipzig with the amount of substitutions, and for 30 seconds for each sub, as I think the Slavko Vincic and his colleagues have decided that they'll go easy on Leipzig, as Simakan is forward looking for a consolation, running forward on the right hand side, feeds it into the path, and there is Akanji, still with that desire to get there for Manchester City to clear. I would imagine that Pep will be purring.
I just think he set his team up absolutely spot on. His defenders have been brilliant. Akanji again is just around 50-60 yards, stayed with the run of the forward, got there first, kept it, picked a lovely pass to Ake, and they played out, and they're now on the attack with Mahrez.
Mahrez plays it towards De Bruyne. Go on, cap it off. De Bruyne! Oh, he has! Oh, what a goal to cap it off! That was superb! Right-footed, curling, Manchester City 7, Leipzig 0, and they've just gone and equalled their biggest home win in the Champions League in some style. What a goal from De Bruyne.
That's just come from Akanji going all the way back and defending. They've played again through the thirds. They've gone over to the right wing. Mahrez has done his little bits and bobs. He's pinged it to De Bruyne, edge of the box. He's shuffled it from his left foot onto his right, opened the goal up. He's got the centre of the goal to shoot at. Where do I put it? Top left or top right? He picks the keeper's top left, top right for De Bruyne as he looks. And he's never going to miss the target, so the keeper is going to either have to make a great save or it goes in the back of the net. That's just outstanding, outstanding.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
There is the final whistle, and Manchester City have produced what's got to be considered the perfect performance. 7 goals, 5 for Haaland, 2 off his left foot, 2 off his right, a header. He had the perfect hat-trick inside the first half, and then we've had a beauty from Kevin De Bruyne and one from Gundogan early in the second half, and Manchester City in some style are through to the last 8 of the Champions League. Manchester City 7, RB Leipzig 0. Manchester City through to the last 8, 8-1 in aggregate. Kelly.
Thank you very much to Ian Dennis at the Etihad with Dion Dublin and Karen Bardsley. Karen, I'm going to ask a very cruel question now. What was your pick of the goals?
What's my pick of the goals? How do you decide? Oh, my word. I mean, the icing on the cake is obviously Kevin De Bruyne's final effort there. I mean, it was just lovely how he just opened up the goal and just, like, it was beautiful. But I think, how do you choose? I think, for me, the one that carried the most momentum and changed the shape of the game was obviously the penalty, as controversial as it was. But to step up and to put that away, that was, I think, a massive moment for me. But I mean, you've got the header from Bernardo Silva at the far post that he, deliberately put back across goal for another effort from Haaland. I mean, you've got, I think it was the 4th goal of Gundogan, like a real team effort going through, like sticking to the game plan, out wide to Silva, Haaland coming in deep, and it's just, I don't know, it's just beautiful. Like, how do you even choose, Dion?
You know what, personally, as a centre forward, I'd go for Haaland's second, the header. I do like the header. It's a really difficult chance. The one that came off the crossbar from De Bruyne's shot, 30 yards out. He's there just in case. Heads it in the back of the net, gives the keeper no chance. Direction, power. That's a really hard thing to do. But, Kelly, I've got to say, to be here, to witness this performance from City, and the way they just demolished the side that are doing well in their league, as easy as this, is just incredible.
Dion, it's not just a great result. It's not just a great performance. This is a statement, isn't it?
It is a statement, and it's down to the individuals we've spoken about. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne, we speak about him all the time, but when he keeps doing it all the time, and he keeps dragging his teammates to a different level, you have to speak about the attitude of the man. Ake was outstanding. Akanji was outstanding. Stones was outstanding. All those players that go below the radar sometimes, Kelly, were just absolutely flawless tonight. They really were.
Yeah, you're going to tell me next, Karen, that it's really important they kept a clean sheet in this one as well. I think that's where Dion was going.
Yeah.